Henry, welcome to Real Talk.
All right, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
I'm well. And I like to start these by just asking you your Web3 origin story. So how did you get into Web3 and then how did that lead to starting Sweat Temple?
Okay, cool, perfect. More than happy to share. Well, it's a long story. First of all, right, our team has been doing the sports tech for over 10 years, and then there are a lot of problems we see, right? But actually, with blockchain technology, Web3, DePIN kind of thing, we can actually make the whole industry, we feel like, a better place. So that's the origin. And then back to long time ago when I heard Bitcoin, right, the digital currency, I was kind of like, I didn't believe it like, in the very beginning. But later, with more information, I feel like, well, this is definitely the future, right? So why not? I was from like traditional finance background, then yeah, I'm more than happy to talk about it. But yeah, Sweat Temple is a cool, and we hope using this, right, that we can make a place that all the user really own the health and fitness data. It's not like, let's say, I don't know, like Apple Watch, they have collect tons of data, but data sort of belong to a corporation, right? So anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting because, you talk about when you first heard about Bitcoin, not really believing. So what was it? What was there a specific application or a specific moment where you're like, okay, this is a legitimate technology with real applications?
Sure. No, that's a great question. So I don't remember when exactly I heard of Bitcoin or digital currency, but along the way, I feel like, well, this whole thing, like, without really like deep in looking into that, I felt like, oh, this whole thing is like very speculative. There's no real value. But the funny thing is like that was like back in maybe 2016, 17. I was working in investment banking. There was a group in their group that kind of started to look at this technology and see how this can really evolve like fintech or like financial industry. Then I feel like, oh, actually, if you look at the technology itself, it's so simple and elegant. It has real value, even from the traditional finance, P2P transfer kind of fintech point of view, right? That's the where I believe, oh, you know what? This whole thing, like, I should kind of like take a closer look like. And then after like the industry evolved with a lot of great applications with real world value, I started believing that and started trading Bitcoin like 2016, 17. So that's the whole story. But the idea or the angle is actually from the sort of like a P2P transfer or like a fintech point of view.
Yeah, that makes sense coming from investment banking. So you have a Web2 experience which is a fairly typical DePIN origin story, where you have a successful Web2 business, hardware business, and then you're using decentralized financial incentives to expand the network and launching a DePIN protocol using that Web2 infrastructure and Web2 experience that you have.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that experience building this Web2 company, and then how you came to the realization that DePIN was where you wanted to take it next?
Oh, yeah, sure. And that's a great question. So my co-founder, Bruce, and I mean, we've been doing this for so many years in terms of sports and fitness technology, right? And then we found there are like several problems that the whole fitness industry or health industry is facing, right? Let's say first, there's no gamification. The contents are boring. Second, the reward system is not sophisticated enough, right, to push people, incentivize people to go extra mile. And then most importantly, as I said, fitness data doesn't belong to the user community. And then last but not least, which is also crucial, is actually if you look at the fitness content, the sports content, it's very centralized, it's very limited. And then it's pretty much dictated by a very limited number of instructors with their own music appetite. And so there's a content fatigue. So we want to actually use our solution to solve this problem. So what's our solution, right? Our solution is basically to use a decentralized model, right? With, of course, the smart tracking device, because we feel the fitness content should be interactive with instant feedback. And then with this DePIN network, with blockchain technology, and of course, with AI-generated fitness content, which will create much variety of the fitness like sort of classes with the music-driven stuff. So we can eliminate content fatigue. We can make the user really own the fitness and health data. And lastly, we believe there's interactiveness, right? So this will basically make the whole community more incentive. Of course, the tokenomics and then how we want to reward them, it's another story, which there's a lot of good example. Of course, some bad example, but we're more than happy to push forward.
So tell me about the specific application that you guys are working with. The stationary bike that can also be used as an e-bike, a real bike. Can you walk me through what you guys have built from the device side?
Oh yeah, sure. That's a very great story. But long story short, initially it's because like during the summer we felt like there's a down from the sales, for the indoor exercise bike because people want to do more outdoor, right? So we launched stuff in Australia to hatch the seasonality, but that's not enough, right? And then we're thinking, oh, what's the product we can bring to the market where like you can either just use more over the summer or maybe all season, and then meanwhile leverage on our existing infrastructure and the content, right? So then that's the original sort of like the reason we want to see something else. And then we're really good at like the content, software, and of course hardware, right? We're thinking, okay, maybe this like e-bike outdoor will be a solution that can actually give our customer and users like 24/7, like a 4-season use of this, right? And then meanwhile, we spend like 3 months in the lab that kind of like design this motor, which, if you ride outside, it's kind of like give the power, but if you ride indoor cycling, it give the resistance. So it's like a 2-in-1 thing. But, because of this product, we're educating the market in the United States, Canada kind of thing. And so far so good, but we believe like, with more health data, we want to scale this more than just cycling space. You can be like dancing and, aerobics, Zumba, last meal, because our algorithm is based on the music. As long as the fitness content is music driven, then we can scale our algorithm and then use our AI to generate the fitness content. It's not only limited to the, indoor and outdoor cycling.
Interesting. Okay, so tell me more about the music side. So you have, everyone knows Peloton, right? Which is kind of the big player, the heavyweight in the space. So walk me through kind of how the music side of it works, because I'm not familiar with that.
No, I'm more than happy to. So the whole original idea of this started from university. My co-founder Bruce and I were at Stanford, and then there's like machine learning class, probably arguably the most popular class in the world, in the Bay Area. It's always crowded. Yep. CS 229, and then we were basically using algorithm to analyze the music structure, BPM, very simple things, right? Because we both love music, we love party, we love fitness. And then later on, that was 10 years ago, right? And along the way, we're evolving our music algorithm. So basically what this algorithm did was to analyze the music structure when, so let's say we start with like, verse and to bridge to chorus, back to bridge. So we know all the, basic structure of the song. And we know the BPM energy build, right? And then basically the next step is the fitness content. The fitness content is basically, if you look at it from a traditional instructor point of view, right? What is good fitness content? It's basically the right move to the right beat at the right moment with the right speech, right? So we want to actually use the AI, our algorithm, to generate a limited number, a limited variety of the fitness content. That's where it started, because at the end of the day, we believe this all reason-based and music-based fitness is really the way to incentivize more people to go extra mile and then just keep doing this.
Interesting. So yeah, what you're saying is like really scientifically optimizing how the music plays to get people to exercise more. That's basically what it comes down to. Yeah,
it is good because the music thing is the first part. The second part is basically overlay the choreography of design, no matter you're dancing or like indoor spinning. And then, but that is basically like a machine learning model that we trained from tens of thousands of classes already filmed from the professional coach.
So it almost sounds like you guys are a music company and your go-to-market is fitness.
Well, some people say that, but it's the true thing is like we're not only good at this music part. So I always say this, right? If you look at the fitness industry, we're the ones who probably know the AI, the algorithm the best. But if you look at the AI practitioners, of course, they know algorithm much better than I do, but we know the fitness content the best. So it's destiny for us to combine of those. And of course, with blockchain, with DePIN, Web3, we can really reward the whole community because the community owns the data. It's not like traditional Web2 business where at the end of the day, I'm not sure if Peloton can work with any insurance company that can actually reward the the customer and then reduce their like sort of like a health insurance premium if they exercise regularly. I'm not sure if they can do that, but
Yeah, so this is where we get into the DePIN side of things, where you're actually developing a marketplace, a new resource that has a supply and demand side, that has a value that's then getting driven back to the user, where users are actually getting paid to exercise. So how does that model work, right? You mentioned the insurance premiums. So what is the data that's being captured that's valuable, and then how do you leverage that to generate revenue and return to users?
That's a really good question. So, of course, we're still in the early stage, and then a lot of like routes to explore. But currently, we believe the key of this is actually data, right? The first thing is basically collect data. So that's where the DePIN come and play. And then we do have tons of hardware experience that would be manufacture something that can cost, or like at least to the consumer, like cost $2,000 or like down to, let's say, $20. So we know the spectrum really well. So all of those are basically to collect the data in a very data-driven way. So for example, like, what if we talk about indoor cycling, every pedal we log in a lot of data, like the rotation, the cadence, resistance, the calorie, how much synchronization you are with the music, the beat of the music, everything. But that's only the starting point, right? And then how frequently you are working out. And then that's basically like the very simple data that we're going to build. And then with, of course, the encrypted DePIN network that will really give us the edge of collecting people's the fitness data, right? That's the first step. And then with this generative AI in the fitness, as I said, right, we're trying to solve the content fatigue. And right now, it's very limited in terms of the variety of the clause, but what we believe is like the people should get individualized inspiration and motivation when they're doing their own fitness journey. So that's why we use generative AI to create an individualized and customized fitness content for every single person. And then what's more important is like in this our ecosystem, basically users are not only the player, they're also the creator and motivator. They can use our generative AI to create great classes or the combination of classes that can actually be used by the others. So you can see this is like, and it's not like a one-way kind of consumer market, right? It's a two-way. And then of course, from going on with the journey, there are a lot of like content monetization thing that we've been thinking. One is basically
sorry to interrupt, but
sure.
So you're saying the basically every owner or every bike owner can create classes and upload them to a class marketplace?
Yes.
Okay.
That will not be achieved with our phase 1, but it will be probably with phase 1.5. We can literally do that because our algorithm, when they generate classes, we can basically plant the seed, save the random seed, and then basically share this with your friends or family. That hey, I enjoy this 20 minutes workout so much. You should definitely try my my class that is actually generated by my own playlist and my style. So that's what we believe is the future of fitness.
Fascinating. That's very cool. So, okay, so how does it actually work in practice, right, at this point? So you can purchase a bike. It works both as a stationary and as an outdoor bike at the moment. And then how as a user do you actually go about interacting with the network?
Definitely, more than happy to answer this. So there are several ways we can start with it. Because in the phase 1, we're gonna start with the indoor cycling space because we have so much experience. So first, of course, at launch we've been partnering with Freebid, which is the official partner of Boston Celtics. So the user can purchase Freebid indoor cycling bike and outdoor cycling bike to start this, because the whole thing is, it's from a technology point of view, right? It's whole connected, right? And then they can log into their account and they can start to ride and earn, and then even using the AI algorithm, which is also compatible with Freebid network, that can create classes. So that's the first thing. But then, however, there's a much more I would say lighter version of this, which we have a smart tracking device we call the smart motion tracker, which is GPS, Bluetooth integrated, that can bundle to any indoor and outdoor bike. You can just bundle to the crank of any bike, and then it's you can still determine basically track all the rotation and the speed, calorie once you put in your height and weight, right? So that's the way that we want to actually lower the barrier to join the Sweat Tempo community, where no matter you're a Peloton user, you're like outdoor track specialized user, you can actually use this to work out, and then we can present you the data, we track data, and later you, as a user, you can determine that you want to grant access of data or revoke access to some third-party business that is happening in phase 2.
Yeah, so basically you can buy a really cheap device, like $20-$30 or whatever it is, and you just keep it in your pocket or in your wallet or something like that, and you just carry it with you when you bike, use your indoor bike, and you don't need to buy your proprietary device.
Exactly.
But to get access to the more granular, valuable data, the proprietary bike is the way to go.
Yeah, I would say so. But going forward, as we mentioned before, we're trying to be more inclusive. So we're designing a kind of like small device that can be actually bundled to your wrist, that you can track your running, swimming, dancing, everything. That thing will not be expensive neither. And for that, we can basically just kind of like scale this as fast as possible, and then trying to be more inclusive, especially using AI generative fitness class. I think this can go viral with like younger folks, because if you look at a traditional user of the fitness content, it range from, let's say, 25 to 45, or maybe 35 to 45 is the main user. But we believe for now, this is 20 to 35 could be the main adapter, you know.
So the bike that you're selling or these classes, it's all kind of on your phone, or how do you have an interface or an application or a website, or how are you delivering the content?
Great question. So, of course, if you are purchasing the Sweat Tempo / freebie kind of bike, yeah, of course, there's a monitor associated with that. It's actually a stationary bike, right? So, but then yes, of course, you can basically cast. We have an app. We have an app on tablet, on smartphones, and then you can easily just cast to Apple TV, right? And then yeah, so that's why, like, end of the day, our thing will be running on the mobile device, but still require a little bit of computing power, which is, the AI generated, because every class that you want to do, because based on your own playlist, will be different. So that's why we still require a little bit like, the computer power of the mobile device. But yes, so we can use tablet, iPhone, Android phones, and then smart TVs to cast everything.
Interesting. So going back to the DePIN model, so what is, in your estimation, the value of this data marketplace? And I know, we had an earlier conversation where you discussed, basically doing carbon credits to some extent, tracking the amount of emissions saved by using a bicycle as opposed to driving, and then working with governments to put a price tag on that savings, and then bringing it back to the user. So just walk me through the revenue models that you thought of and the size of the market opportunity, just from a high level.
Sure, of course. I think for this part, it's more like ESG or like the refi part. We want to delay this a little bit, to be honest, because our key focus right now is actually to use the generative AI DePIN and then to tackle on the fitness content market. And if you really talk about the fitness content market, how big is it? By projection, the fitness content itself, the market size will be $80 billion by the year end of 2020. It's huge. It's huge, and it's increasing. And then with people's projection of this, people even didn't think that AI can play an important role. But what we believe is, like, with the AI, with a limited variety of the fitness content, this number will be at least double. Just given how kind of fascinating, right, to people like try the new stuff they haven't seen before. So yeah, so that's basically what we're trying to solve in the beginning. Yeah.
Awesome. And we're really excited to have you as a part of our DePINSurf Cohort 2. Can you just share why you decided to work so closely with IoTeX and what you're hoping to get out of that relationship?
Of course. Look, I think, first of all, thank you for accepting us on the Cohort 2, right? So we're really excited. So I think that probably there are two main reasons that we think IoTeX is a perfect partner. After talking with you and then the co-founder of IoTeX, we believe two things, right? First, we feel that like IoTeX is really kind of like, strict we really appreciate or genuinely appreciate the quality and the effort that this team actually inputting, right? Because I can feel that like your team are very excited about the underlying technology and the underlying effort we've been feeling this last so many years. And then to some extent, we're trying to doing the same things, basically using Web3 but connecting with real world, right? So that's why we believe like, IoTeX is a team that can genuinely appreciate the underlying technology, underlying effort, and resources that have been put into our product. So that's really important. We want to work with someone like you. And number two, of course, is basically, with the network, we need someone who are really good at connecting the real world and the Web3, and which require very deep integration between the hardware and the data, right? So then that's exactly what IoTeX is doing. So I think you guys doing really well, and then also helping a lot of like the projects and growing. We see the definitely good trend, and then more than happy to work with you. And then maybe last, I would say, we've been talking with some other, like sort of chains and then like as well. But I feel like, first, IoTeX is very, very like DePIN driven. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's any other like people are doing like DePIN specific sort of accelerator, or maybe at least I don't know. And even for example, Solana, they have similar thing, but they don't have a structured program. It's very isolated.
Yeah.
There's no structured program. So that's why we believe this can be a really good thing that we can also learn from the journey. So yeah, look, we're really, really excited to work with IoTeX folks.
Awesome. Henry, thank you so much for your time today.
All right. Thank you, Dan.